Okay, thank you everyone who will be seeing this video later for joining. I am interviewing small businesses to hear about how COVID-19 has affected them and the plans they have for the future. The goal of this project is to connect members of the community with local businesses through my gift box, and in this box I'm providing a combination of tea and snack products, plus marketing materials for the small businesses you're helping during this time, and all of the proceeds are going back to them. All right, so let's get started. Thank you for agreeing to this interview so much. I appreciate it.
Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
And firstly, I would just like to say that when you replied to my email, I was very excited because everyone who knows me knows that I am a serious tea lover. I can't stop drinking it, and so this is very exciting for me.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to help you get your sip on.
Thank you. So, firstly, introduce us both to you and to the business. You could talk a little bit about the products that you have. Okay, before we get into that, I'm sorry I keep interrupting. I went onto your website and I got one of those newsletter messages, and it said like please join the community, but it was spelled like community, and that was also making me very excited, but I just had to point that out there.
Well, I'll tell you a third layer to that a little later after I introduce myself.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Becky, and I am the owner and founder of the Random Tea Room in Northern Liberties, Philadelphia. We got started, I opened the tea room in 2008, and to be honest, I didn't know anything about tea. I just knew that coffee hurt my belly, and I wanted an alternative lifestyle, basically. And I also didn't want to ever sell anything to anybody that would hurt them. Like, I don't want to, sell people things that aren't good for them or, have false promises. So I figured tea was the safest thing, so it could never hurt anybody.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just going to figure it out as I went, but then I met a tea sensei, and he showed me the way of tea. And, I've had, an amazingly blessed tea path. And it's gotten me here, 13 years later, to be considered, not a tea expert, because I don't believe that anybody's an expert. I know that I'll never learn everything about tea, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to keep going, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, but here I am, this tea professional. We call ourselves Cha Ren around here, because Cha means tea, and Ren is people, so we're tea people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have to talk about the tea sensei, because I feel like that must have been such an amazing experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful. We met at the Trenton Avenue Arts Festival at a friend's booth. They were like, hey, my friend George has moved to town, and I had just told him I was going to open a tea room, and then we met, and the story got written. His name's George Kane, and he is a sommelier of all things divine. And he shared with me the way of tea, as well as a different way of existing, being able to really care for yourself and have higher standards than my background growing up in South Jersey didn't really have any really refined standards. And so I feel like I got to start a new life in tea. So what a gift is all I can say. What a gift. But I get to share it with everybody in my tea room with the blends I make, and just helping others to start their tea journey or take some extra steps in a different direction. And it's a lot of fun.
I mean, I love that you have the name The Random Tea Room and Curiosity Shop as well, because I feel like your business is so much more than tea, right? Like, there are a lot of different, it's a lifestyle, and there are different aspects to it as well. So, like, when you're going and you're getting an experience, it's more than just, like, the actual product, which I love. Because I feel like we're also commercially focused, that it's good to just look at, like, the bigger thing, you know?
Yeah, Or the smaller thing.
Or the smaller thing, true.
Like a
True.
Well, the name actually started because, well, the random tea room is because I don't like to be pigeonholed into any one specific thing. I want to be an art gallery. I want to be a poetry salon. I want to be a music venue. And if I'm random, then I can be all these things. And we have been all of these things. And then the curiosity shop aspect came from, I used to work for an antiques dealer. I would take photos of his fine antiques and put them on eBay, and then he had all these other things that were kind of like not as super fancy or didn't cost $700 like most of his stuff that he would let me sell on consignment in my shop. But it turns out that nobody really wants those things. So I focused more on tea, and there are some more tchotchkes laying around, but it's just like if somebody sees it and has a spark, then it's great, but I don't depend on that now.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like I really want to do a number of tea businesses because as a culture, we're so focused on coffee. And I remember I'm with all my friends and everyone's like, I drank coffee last night and it was like 9 p.m. and I was going,
oh my gosh.
I know. And I was going, guys, I'm not sure if this is the best option for you. And this is not like to, disparage all the coffee people out there, but I just feel like there are other options that can be explored, and I think that
Absolutely.
should be explored. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually made a coffee blend. We call it Nada Java, and it has roasted barley and roasted dandelion and roasted mate, and it has like a lot of like the aromatics of coffee, but with your yerba mate, it's matine instead of caffeine, so it gives you like a sustained energy instead of like a jittery crash. So it's really nice and can be steeped more than once as well.
Ooh, that's nice. Okay.
Something coffee does not brag about.
Right.
Do you know anybody that steeped coffee grounds twice?
No, I don't. I think that must be a crime in coffee. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, no, that's against the rules.
All right. Oh, I also just wanted to say that you have such a variety of tea. Like, I feel like I've been to a lot of tea places that they just have one kind, or they're just kind of like singularly focused, as well as focused on a specific culture, I feel, as opposed to having like a broader array. Because I feel like I went to one place and maybe they just had like the English teas, or maybe they had like which didn't. I know that was my face. Not to like hate on the English teas, but I was like, there's so much more tea out there than this like tiny sliver of tea that you're selling to people. I was like, my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about it, but I usually say ruined tea. But there's a whole lot of other people making some really great tea. And just like everything in life, diversity makes it better. So why not have an international selection? I would actually like my selection now. I definitely have like tea and herb blends, like probably over 200 things in my available, but it's a tip of the iceberg. There's like so many varieties of teas, and like some of them can be very high end and seem extremely inaccessible. And I think that's one of the problems with tea is like that mystery. Like it's a problem and an attribute at the same time. Like it's great. I love the mystery of tea, but it's also like, how do I learn about it without ruining this really expensive, lovely, thoughtfully crafted blend or roasted oolong or something? And I think I'm a stepping stone, because like once you get into say a pu'er tea, which is a cave aged tea that can be bitter or it can be sweet depending on if it's raw or cooked, and like so many nuances of preparation that it can be overwhelming. But I feel like if you have a guide, like somebody just give you a direction, like, or just a starting point, then the journey can be amazing.
That's important because I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by loose leaf and the process that comes
Yeah,
with that, and they don't want to steep it, and they don't want to do any of that. Like they just want to take, go to the store, get a little packet, and be done with that. And I was like, guys, that's
absolutely.
not. I mean, that's going to be faster, but it's not the whole experience about tea is to take time for yourself, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, people don't. That's not a thing. That's been like written out of our psyche as
right,
Americans. I think we're always trying to do the easiest, fastest, quickest thing so we can get on to the next thing. But then we miss out on so many beautiful things in life when we do it that way, because like the different tea leaves, they look different, like in different types of tea. Some of them are even furry. It's so cute. You can play with them afterwards. Like sometimes I'll take like tea kuan yin leaves that have steeped 3 or 4 times, and then I'll unfurl them because they're little knots practically, and I'll just like put them on my eyes and then like use them for beauty products. Like there's so much you can do with it, that we're just like a use it and lose it type of society, that we need to like do what we can to break that cycle. And this is like almost like something to stick it against the man, right?
right,
By drinking a cup of tea.
right. It's also like, I think it is somewhat anti corporate commercial as well, because I also feel that, like, the thing with these commercial corporate businesses is that they want you to have like a fast consumerism, and tea, like actual tea, not the bag tea, because we're not talking about that, but like the loose leaf, like it forces you to take time, and maybe you're buying in like, not as often, but like you're having a better experience
Mm-hmm.
than the other one. So I feel like that's important as well.
Yeah, you're doing something for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So moving on into COVID, which is a very interesting topic with the other people I've talked to, because they all have different reactions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first question, this is more general. How has it affected you? I can imagine that's, you know, a very broad question with a lot of answers.
Well, I'm really. It has dramatically affected me. Yes. I have. Our tea front is very small.
Yeah.
It's the first floor of a brownstone, and maybe like half of it. So I definitely was like, boom, shut it down. Pre-order pickups through the window. I was very lucky that I had been working the entire year before to develop a website that has a shopping portal. And so after fine tuning it, then COVID hit. And I was like, not having to scramble like a lot of businesses were by making a shopping portal. So once again, blessed tea path, right?
Right. Right.
But I definitely had to be very creative. We were just doing like 1 day a week pre-order pickup, but I started reaching out, like, and pre-COVID, I was going to go to an event at a sustainable garden in West Philly, and then the event got canceled, and then I gave up on ever being able to go there. And it turns out that my daughter's teacher was the sister of the woman that runs the garden that I wanted to go to. So I got to go to the garden and see the garden, and they invited me to make an event there, and it was called Community.
Ah.
So
Okay.
that's that extra layer that I was telling you about. Now, this was great. I was boasting face shields. It was like part of the ticket. I actually have my face shield here. I'll show you. So these face shields are locally made by my friend Steph. And we had like a shield decoration booth. I've added my mom's scarf. It's cute, it's fun. It's safe. And I've been trying to really promote like interacting safely, because obviously we need each other. We're not supposed to be this isolated. And I'm a business person, but I'm also like very much into supporting arts and community
Right.
functions, and like community gardens have just, they save me really over the years. Every garden that I interact with just makes me a better person. I meet the most wonderful people in gardens. So we struck up a collaboration with One Art Community Center. We had community. I made them a tea blend, One Art tea, with made with exclusive items that they grow um, on the farm. And and we're gonna collaborate in the future. They're gonna help grow us herbs for the tea room, so we can have locally grown herbs in our blends.
That's wonderful.
So that's one of the things that COVID did. Like, it got me to my sustainable garden in West Philly that I didn't think I would even be able to get to. And that's because I got to know my daughter's teacher better through Zoom classes.
I see. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a different interconnections, and then it ended up that was your path to like go.
Yeah, I was supposed to go there and meet her.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then other ways that we've been like dealing with COVID is we've been doing wholesale over the years, but I've never like pushed it. It's always just been every once in a while I'll get a new client inquiring, and then I'll sell them tea for their cafe. But now that we can't sell out the front door, I've started doing wholesale, and I actually got to rehire my friend Jane, who used to be my bookkeeper and moved out of Philadelphia, and she lost her job during COVID. And I said, well, I need help, and you know how to help me. And so now I have a wholesale relationship manager, and she's getting me new wholesale clients. I'm at the tea room today because we had so many orders and we have so many pop-ups that we need to do, that all three of us, my manager, my relationship manager, me, and my daughter, came into the tea room today to pack teas and blend teas. So it's pretty great. I kind of love what's happened.
I mean,
in a weird way.
I was going to ask about marketing as my next question, but it feels like I feel like you're pretty good with that. Like, it sounds like, things are going really well. Like,
well, they are picking up. They're still a little tough.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying myself, but that's just, I'm lucky to have a partner that can support me. And someday he plans on going into retirement on the tea room, so we'll balance it out.
Yeah.
We'll balance it out.
So, next question, not to get too, well, I mean, a little bit political, but like, do you feel that, I'm pretty sure I know what the answer to this is, but do you feel that currently, do you feel supported by both our government and the policies that they have set forth?
Oof. Well, I'm not happy.
You're not happy.
and I mean, I'm grateful I had to get a PPP loan, and very looking forward to them forgiving that and not having to pay it back.
Right.
And I got one other EIDL grant, but otherwise, I don't think that they're doing a good job of taking care of lower class, lower income people that don't own their own property, renters especially. It's very sad to know that a lot of property owners are getting like forbearances on their mortgages and then still expecting their renters to pay money, and not trickling down the line. So partially it's the government not being great with the legislation, and it's partially that people are still jerks, and they need to stop being so selfish and realize that sharing is where it's at. Right. And that's the only way we can all come together.
And was the process for getting the PPP loan, like, was it like because I actually don't know how the timeline for that process, like, was it a very long process?
There was like 2 stages. The first stage was like extremely ornate with how to apply. And then the second stage, they made it easier to apply. And bonus, I have an accountant, and she's really awesome. So she helped me get my numbers together. So since I waited, it was easier, and since I had help, it was easier. So I would say that it wasn't terrible, the process.
Okay, wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but if I had to do it all on my own, it would be. Okay.
That's an important, yeah, because I feel like there are probably a lot of people who did have to do it on their own, who like maybe didn't have an accountant or just somebody who was knowledgeable, you know, who could tell them what to do. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's important to learn the lesson that you can't do everything yourself. It's hard. It's a hard lesson to learn.
It is a hard lesson.
But once you do learn it and you start delegating and you take some of the pressure off, you can actually start to enjoy life again.
I feel like you're like answering my question before I ask it, which is like...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I was like, we're in sync. We're... That's really
It's been one of those days.
Yeah, it could be. Because I was going to say, what advice do you have for anyone who wants to either start a business or grow their business right now? But I feel like that's a really important part about, you know, if you can, like some people, you know, need to take on a lot themselves, but if you have other people around you, you know, how can you, you know, use, you know, them and then they're helping you and it's like an interconnection that's happening. How do you use your like resources?
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just lucky that, oops, sorry about that, that people like my tea, so I can be like, can I pay you in tea? And that works for a little while, and then you actually, when things really start working, then you can actually compensate them appropriately.
Can I pay you in tea? I'm going to try that. I like that.
If it's good tea.
If it's good tea. Yeah. All right, so this is... Oh, go ahead.
Another thing that I did for COVID was I started bottling our chai masala. It's our most popular tea, and like we've been selling loose leaf of it, but it's kind of not the same like the way we grow it in house. We like use fresh ginger and rose water and vanilla, and it's just like when we make it in a big batch and cook it for a while, it just gets such a special way that is like really hard to mimic at home. So since I can't like ladle out cups of chai to the customers, I started putting them in jars and selling them like at pop-ups and such. But I think I might start doing like a Germantown Mount Airy delivery service like once a week. So that's something I would never have thought of doing ever. But you know, these are the times. People need their tea. And the chai makes people happy because it has cardamom in it. And I don't know if you know about cardamom, but it's an antidepressant.
Oh, yeah. All right. This is my future question.
Oh.
I mean, living in the present, but also a future question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, and where do you hope to take the business?
Whoa, 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
I used to visualize myself like as like a really old lady selling tea behind the counter, like because I always saw myself as a really old Japanese man. You know, like or the guy in The Fifth Element that sells soup from that flying boat to his window. That's kind of how I saw myself. But that had to change when I had a family. And so now seeing myself 10 years down the line, I'm like, okay, my kid will be 13. Maybe I won't be hustling as hard. Maybe I'll have it figured out by then. Maybe I'll have a warehouse where I store tea and ship tea. Maybe even like a facility that makes my chai in large batches instead of 5-gallon pots.
Ooh. That would be nice.
Yeah, because I can't do it from such a small building forever.
Right.
Yeah, gotta grow.
And lastly, what can we do to support you? So you could just shout out the website or social media or anything you want to shout out.
Oh, you could get some gift cards for your family and friends and spread the love, or you could buy a monthly subscription to our tea subscription program. We have compostable packaging, and we send you the directions on how to make it, and it's very thoughtful. We have 5 different styles you can choose from, so if you like dark tea or light tea or herbals, you know, you can go pick a road, and then we'll walk down with you. And every month you'll get 2 samples to pair and like see what you like and don't like, and then you can stop whenever you want, or you can change your direction and try something else, and it's a lot of fun.
And everyone should get our box that we're collaborating on.
Absolutely.
Everyone should do that. And yeah, I would just like to thank you so much. This has been an amazing opportunity.
Thank you too. I really appreciate it.